Are you ready to climb the ladder in radio? Hi, I'm AC Programming Specialist Gary Berkowitz, and that's the subject of today's 21 for 21 programming video series. 21 programming ideas for the new year 2021. So what better way is there to tell you how to climb the ladder in radio and get that next promotion than to hear it from somebody who has already done it? My special guest today is Jim Davis, and Jim Davis is better known as Big Jim Davis because Jim is not only a big guy, but Jim has a big radio resume. It's the who's who of radio resumes. Just to give you a little bit of background of Jim, Air Talent, program director, general manager, owner at great radio stations over the years. I'm just going to rattle off a few of the call letters, starting off in Buffalo, New York, but then moving on to CKLW Detroit, KHJ Los Angeles, WOR-FM in New York, KMPC in Los Angeles, and so many others. So without further ado, please welcome Big Jim Davis to give us some advice on how to climb the ladder in radio. You're the program director at KMPC in Los Angeles, arguably, the biggest market in the country. And what was your first general manager job? What station were you at for that?
I was encouraged to contact a young owner by the name of Ken Johnson, who was developing a chain called Capital Broadcasting Corporation, and he offered me a job in Charleston, West Virginia, as my first GM job, knowing full well that I had a lot to learn. It was the best move I ever could have made, Gary, because honestly, it was my first chance to really get in, dig in, and listen and learn.
Okay, so your first GM gig is in West Virginia, and it kind of sounds like, Ken Johnson wanted you and you wanted him. And what was the second GM gig right after that?
Well, I went to Daytona Beach, Florida, to a station called I-100, owned by a fellow by the name of Norman Drubner. Norman had he was assembling a chain of radio stations. He was a real estate developer from New England, very smart fella. Thought he dabbled in the broadcasting business and realized that he had bought a radio station in Daytona Beach that he overpaid for. And simply he wanted to get rid of it. And he made me a deal that I couldn't refuse, which was, come to this job. I want to sell this radio station. And I will make you a partner in this radio station. And if you sell it for more than I paid for it, I'll pay you 10% of everything over the top. He was a great guy. And by the way, he bought that station for $4.5 million and he sold it for 10.5. Do the math. It was a great payday.
What are the three things that you would advise today's programmer who wants to become a general manager? What would be your three best pieces of advice for him or her?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I would say be a sponge. When you go into that office or that studio every day, surround yourself with the people in there who you suspect may have some leadership clues to your next job move. Remember, some of these people that you're going to learn from are not always the people you want to keep the information from. Sometimes you reject the information. There may be a programming situation, as an example, where you feel that the program director that you work for or the general manager that you work for didn't give you valid advice. That's okay. That's part of the learning as well. So I would say keep your ears open and then be willing to externally learn.
Thanks, Jim. Some really good information in there, and you certainly have climbed the ladder in radio. I'd like to add 3 quick points when you're looking for that next job. Number 1, enthusiasm. It will really get you far. People love enthusiastic people. Number 2, somewhat like number 1, but the word is passion. Be passionate. Passionate about the job you're applying for, and more importantly, be passionate about radio. And number 3, do your homework. Try to know more about the radio station you're applying to than the person you're talking to. It'll go a long way as you try to climb the ladder in radio. Once again, my thanks to Jim Davis for joining us today. If you enjoy these videos, please feel free to subscribe by hitting that big red button right below me. My programming newsletter, AC Programming Today, is complimentary if you'd like to subscribe at garyburke.com. Coming up in the next programming series, 21 for 21, we're going to stay on this idea of climbing the ladder in radio, and we will talk about going from air talent to program director. And that's all here on 21 for 21. I'm AC Programming Specialist Gary Berkowitz, and thank you for watching.